All right, folks. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Random Files. I don't know how many people are going to be interested in this subject. We just needed a title, and we're going to talk about that and a little bit of other things too. Before we get started into what I'm going to show you tonight, if you have any questions about anything at all other than what we're talking about too, I'll be happy to answer that. Like some people are talking about Joe Kent and supposedly him leaking information, and Netanyahu said some really crazy cuckoo things today. Everybody's just like, what is he talking about, dude? What are these people ever talking about? They never have any, they don't make any sense. They just say crap. And to me, it's the equivalent of throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that's just what they do. Um, and then Zelensky fired off with some other BS. And I don't know, dude. I don't know what to think of these people. But we can get into all that and more. But right now, the reason for this episode and the title may put some people off because a lot of people may not want to know how to buy and sell or buy gold and silver. But for the 20 something people that are in the chat, let's get into it. I'm going to actually show you something on eBay, and maybe it might teach you something about how it works. And thank you to everybody who followed me over from PRT. We just did the members only live tonight, and it was about well, some sort of weird creature in the swamp. So that is PRT, and this is Random Files, two different things. So let's get into this. Hello to everybody who's in the chat. I gotta do something here. The mouse pad was like not letting my thing. There we go. Here we go. So I'm going to bring up something on the screen, and it's eBay. And if you're familiar with eBay, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody on here has probably bought something from eBay. If you're not, let me know in the chat, and I can explain what it is and how it works. And before people get snarky and go, who doesn't know how to use eBay? Well, there's a lot of people that don't use eBay. One of my friends, I was talking about eBay and Amazon, and she was talking to me about it. And my friend Heather, who had a chiropractor business for 20 something years, and she told me, she's like, yeah, I use it all the time. And I thought, so she understood. So then when it came time to talk about buying gold and silver, she admitted to me that she didn't use eBay. She used Amazon, but didn't had not used eBay. So yeah, it does happen. There are people who don't know how to use eBay. So here's Randy. He says, I don't. So let's get all the names together so we can make fun of them. Let's see. Randy's the first one to make fun of. I'm joking, Randy. You know we love you. Ain't nobody better make fun of my man Randy right there. Get one of these. One of these rings. I'll sell it to you. How much? I'm joking. That one's not for sale. That would be the last possession that I would ever sell. And Dee Dee says, I used it a few times. Then this JoJo says, Duke, it's a start. Well, here's the comment Duke made. He says, been really trying to practice gratitude lately, been hating my job a lot lately, but realized maybe I should be thankful. Yeah. And Duke, it's hard. Anthony can tell you every day there are people that we all want to slap. But the thing is, Jesus said to turn the other cheek, but you only got two cheeks. That's what they always say, right? Well, you only got two cheeks. After that, you got to start throwing hands. Like, I don't think that's what Jesus had in mind. But Anthony, you can attest to this every day. You're just like, dude. Yeah. And that's just with the omelet he's trying to make. I mean, it's like, omelet's the therapeutic. I'm making a joke. You just ruined it. But that's fine. Do what you do best, right? Just ruin jokes. Ever since he was a kid, ever since that boy was knee high to a grasshopper, he's been ruining jokes. Let me tell you that. I'm joking. We're kidding here. But anyway, if anybody is interested, I will tell you what the gold, the silver, we can get into the whole why and how before we get started. Like, do you guys want to know like why it's important right now to buy gold and silver? Because if you don't know, maybe you need to know. And today, Gold jumped up $114.30, right? And you may think, "Gee, that's a lot," but that's because it had plummeted from $5,300 over the last week and a half. That's how volatile it can be. But I promise you, it's not gonna stay below 5,000. I give you my almost nothing is 100% except for God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit. We know that. But on this physical plane of existence, one thing is for certain. I know this: gold will always have a value. And there are goofy, uninformed, silly, snarky people who say, you can't eat gold when the apocalypse comes. Come on, calm down, Delbert. There have been multiple apocalypses, and gold is still valuable. Gold has been valuable for eons, and it will always be valuable. In fact, if you're a believer in the Galactic Federation, I reserve my opinion on that on this channel, but I can say this: it is a treasure. That's why Jesus talks about gold being in heaven. A bit odd, isn't it, that Jesus would talk about it if it didn't have a value? So ignore the kids in the back, the Delberts of the world, that tell you that gold is not worth anything because you can't eat it or whatever. I promise you, you will always be able to trade it, because even if we had a nuclear apocalypse, there will be those that will hoard the gold and still give you supplies and food and whatever for it. I promise you that. And if that doesn't happen and you can't find somebody within a 100-mile radius to buy your gold during the apocalypse, well, you can curse me, hate me all you want. But pretty damn sure you'll find somebody that'll have a use for it. In fact, some people believe that's why the Anunnaki were here, because they were mining for gold and they wanted us to do it, and they created us and whatever. And then there's a big argument about that. They're like, well, God created us. It really doesn't matter how God went about creating us. It's just the fact that he did. And whatever means he used, he used. And that could have been the means to create us. It doesn't matter. But he loved us enough and cared for us enough to send Christ to pull us out of this mess that we're in. That's where your salvation comes into play, right? But here we're going to talk about, here is the gold futures. That's the numbers, 4719. Why is that important? Well, because, do you want to take it, Anthony? You want me to take it?
No, you got it.
Okay, well, gold futures, that is when you are buying them on the stock market. But that pretty much is the gold price. That's what you're going to pay out in the open market too. Give or take 20, 30 bucks. If anybody tells you, and we'll look at gold spot price right now. If anybody tells you different, don't do it. And we'll get into this. So here's one of the websites here, and it's pretty up to date. I think it's a little bit behind that one, but this is one of them that you can go to, right? And it's called Money Metals, and you can look it up on there, and it shows you
Show 'em
this.
on the desktop so they can see better.
Well, I mean, that's reserved for the eBay thing we're doing.
I mean, you can do both if you want.
Well, if you want to, go ahead. But I was just going to show them that, and then we were going to get into it. But you can look on their website, and you can see, and silver is at 75.01. Now that climbed back up a little bit too. It was hovering around 69.70, and now it's going back up. I got to tell you, silver is not in time with gold. It is way, way out of whack. So what you need to do, if you have the money, I'm going to suggest to you something. There's two things that are way undervalued right now: silver and platinum. Even if silver hit 100, it's still undervalued. Do you know why? Why do we know that silver is undervalued? Because it is only about 7 to 8 times as rare as gold. Like they have it they've made it out like gold, or I'm sorry, gold is 7 to 8 times
More abundant.
yeah, more
Yeah.
abundant. Yeah, or silver is more abundant, right?
Yeah.
But what are we looking at here? If gold is at, let's just say 4,800, and let's put silver at 80, which is kind of what it's selling for. And I have not even looked at eBay today to tell you that that's true, but I do believe if we look at eBay, we are probably going to see it selling for around $80 an ounce, maybe a little bit less, but I doubt it. But what I'm going to tell you is this: if you look at gold and you look at silver, there should only be about a 7 to 8 times difference, and there was at one time, it was about that much, and now it is way out of proportion. So silver is not overperforming, it is underperforming. Not only is silver underperforming, but it is so undervalued, and that is by design, and that is something for the random files that we could talk about. But per the title, buying and gold and silver, right? That's the title. So we're not going to get into exactly what the Rothschilds did and the Londinium market and how they have squeezed our balls once again. One of the evilest families on the entire planet, I'd say probably in the universe. They're actually known all around the galaxy as gangster criminal. I'm joking. I'm taking it a little too far.
Talk about them on Mos Eisley.
Or am I? That's probably something we should talk about on that other channel, PRT. But we're not going to get into that, these reptiles. I would say this: because it's so out of whack, gold is not really overvalued. Because gold is really what they call a monetary metal. Silver is called what?
Industrial metal.
An industrial metal. So is copper, right? So platinum falls somewhere in between, and platinum right now is super duper cheap for what it is. I don't even know the answer to this. Can you look it up just to make sure that we're on the right page? How much more rare is platinum than gold? I think it's 12 times, but I could be wrong. I was wrong once back in the 70s before I turned 5. No, wait, maybe I was mistaken.
Says estimates varying between platinum being 10 to 30 times more rare.
Yeah, so I was always taught that it was about 12 to 15 times more rare, but that's an estimate. So you're looking at the low end 10 to 12 times, which is what I was banking, and then the high is 30 times. I don't think it's 30 times, but I would say that platinum is probably somewhere in the middle, maybe 12 to 15 times more rare than gold. But, and we're going to get into this, why is platinum trading at such a lower rate? Good question. People wonder, why do you wear this gold on here? Well, this is a prop. And if it's a prop, well, guess what? It's a tax write-off, right? That's a tax write-off. You can actually write off props as a tax write-off. But the challenge is it's jewelry. And if you go to melt it down, whether it's 10 or 14K, and I'm wearing both, there is a problem. You lose a percentage of the gold. And one day I'll do a show and explain to you why gold jewelry is not as valuable, even if it is 24 karat, as the 999 pure gold bars. It's almost impossible to get anything that they could tell you, stamp it, and say this is 100% pure. It's not. 24 karat is 999, but gold bullion is ready to go. It's ready to be whatever, liquidated. Don't waste your time on gold rounds, also known as gold coins, but you can't call gold rounds gold coins. You can't call silver rounds silver coins. Do you know why?
That implies that they're currency?
It implies that they are currency. And was it 1930? Would you look that up for me too? There was a law that was passed, 18 something. I can't remember exactly, 1870 something. And then they reiterated it in 1830 something because of the gold seizure that they did in 1936, I believe. And then again in 37, and they seized silver. I don't think that would ever happen again because you would have an armed revolt on your hands at this point.
Coinage Act of 1873?
1873.
Sometimes called the crime of 73.
The crime of 73. There you go. In 1873, they made it illegal to call gold rounds or silver rounds currency unless it was stamped and by the U.S. Mint, basically saying that this. So the reason that's, and I wish I would have brought some with me, but I have eBay to do this with. It's no big deal. The reason that they did that was so that people can't say, well, this silver is worth da 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 da. And yeah, and what they do with those minted coins, it's always less valued on the head of the coin. I recently had acquired some Canadian that were stamped at $10. And this was back when silver was trading at, I think, $23. So it was undervalued already just to have it as currency in the Canadian government. It was like $10. And I bought like 5 or 6 of them or something. So they were be considered legal tender. You could use them in the Canadian government. They accepts them as currency. What's going to happen in Texas in 2027, gold and silver will become solid currency. You can go and get it at the bank. But not yet. We're not there yet. I believe it starts in March, which is like a year from now. But there's no time like the present to prepare. So here's what I'm going to tell you. We will start with this. We'll bring this onto the stage, and this is eBay. And we'll start with this. We'll just type in, we'll start with silver. Pulls up right here, silver bullion, silver coins, silver bar, silver dollar. What is all this? People looking at this and going like, what is this? What is silver bullion? Do you know what silver bullion is? Let's take a look. And here it is. 10 silver bars, 3 grams for $30. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need that. But you want to buy from a reputable seller, somebody that will stand behind their product. Now, here are the reputable sellers. Here's one of them. I buy from them regularly. APMEX, 99.3% positive feedback, right? Direct from APMEX, buy now, 816 for 10 ounces of silver. Gee, silver is at $74, but why is it selling for, well, do the math. It's selling for like $82, right? What does that come out to? $81.60 or something like that per ounce? Yeah. So why is that? Why is that?
Because when you buy it, you're not buying it at spot. You're always paying over the spot price.
But I predict that what we're going to see today is some wild fluctuation here. Here's one, 5 ounces. And remember, 5 ounces is about $75 right now, right? So get out your calculators and do the math. What does that come out to, right? $4.50? Is that what that comes out to? At $75 an ounce, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're probably wondering why this weird fluctuation in these different prices. Why is this one going for $81 from APMEX, right? And this one is 5 ounces for $400 from the same company. That's a weird thing, isn't it? And it appears that this is the same item. This is a 10-ounce silver bar, which comes out to $81 and like per ounce, $81 per ounce. Here's a 5-ounce one, right? So it doesn't make sense, does it? Right? So what does that come out to? That's 400, right? But if you're looking at it from this perspective, 10 ounces is $7.50. So how much more of a markup is that? Right? That's 60, what, $66 markup on that, or $67? And this one here is selling for about 80, what is that? $51, right?
Talking about the 5 ounce silver
Yeah.
bar?
How much is the 5-ounce silver?
Okay, so 5 ounce
What's the markup on
silver
that?
bar. Actually, that would be 81.60 per ounce. So
That's exactly the same, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So then it's my bad. I'm messing up.
408 divided by 5
because I
ounces.
started doing $75 in my head. So this would be $75 for 5 ounces. If you looked at how much that would be, what does that come out to?
375.
Three
If it was
370,
$75 an ounce. Yeah.
375, right? So you're looking at a markup of what? What is that? 30, yeah.
If it's going for 81.60 an
Yep.
ounce, so that'd be 31 bucks. Let's see.
Yeah.
33
So you're looking at 81.60 an ounce, and if it's at 75, that's a markup of $9 per silver coin bullion. Here's what confused me, and I confused you guys, and I apologize about that. I was trading at this one at 80 and this one at 75. So this one would have been, let's see, 75, that's 75, that's 300, it'd be 375. And so you're paying $9 and what, 60 cents per ounce over spot. But that's not terrible. And now here's a trap you got to be careful for. And this is why we're talking about this. If you look at this right here, you're going to pay a little more from a company like APMEX or Liberty because of this right here. You see on eBay, 99.3% positive. So that means you're probably going to get your stuff and it's probably going to be pure. And here, this one, 99.8%, right? Now, if you go away from them and you start going into these other companies, other whatever, you're kind of flirting with, JM Bullion, that's another one, 99.7%. If you stick Pinehurst, I trust them too, 99.7%. You're looking at Scottsdale, that's another one. Now you got to be real careful. Now when you get to Scottsdale, it goes down a little bit, 97.8%. Do you know why that is? Because there are Chinese dealers that are actually faking the Scottsdale mint, and they're catching the bad end of it. And so that has hurt their positivity as of late. But for the most part, I trust Scottsdale. I trust JM Bullion. But what these Chinese are doing, and I'm going to show you this little trick that they're doing, it starts getting weird, right? And just because this says, oh, look at this one, 100% positive, but there's 362. They're a little bit newer, there's sunshine minting, whatever. You start getting into some of these, and you're not 100% on. You got to be careful. So don't just look at this and go, oh, look, this company 998%, but they have 8,500 people who've said that, right? Because this number right here is very important. How many people are saying that, right? And they can use bots to try to make it look like they have a better rating than they really do. I got taken by these Chinese on some fake silver not too long ago. It's only happened one time that I know of, that I can think of in my head, that I got ripped. I got ripped buying some in person when I first really started out years ago, like in 07, 08. I guess it was it was 06, but never happened again. And I figured out, like, and Anthony can attest to this, I can look at a silver or piece of silver or gold, and I can tell you immediately if it's real or not.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to fake me in person. I can tell you
You
that
can tell
right.
if it's plated with, or if it's got a nickel core, if it's dipped in rhodium or what.
Yeah. And what he means by dipped in rhodium is, I'll show you right here, folks. Let me take this off the screen for just a minute so I can show you what I'm talking about. This is silver. This is 999 silver, but this is rhodium plated. It makes it more valuable. The rhodium adds about $100 to $150, and it makes it really pretty shiny, and it doesn't tarnish. But this is real. Here's another one here. I'll show you. I can find it. Here it is right here. By comparison, this is 995. And I could tell you, I can look at that and tell you that is not 100%. And Anthony knows, he's been with me when we've been to the markets and we've bought silver and gold in person. So you have all these different places to buy from, but remember these. And if I were you, I would write them down. In fact, maybe Anthony, you could type it on here. Just type on there, and when you get to the other side, I'll tell you which ones to type in.
Okay.
Pinehurst Scottsdale, JM Bullion, Liberty, and APMEX. Yeah, and so here, I'm going to address a question, a statement there. So FKT, okay, he says if you want to buy at a lower price, go for 925 purity silver quarters and half dollars. Yes and no. If you do that, yes, you will pay a lower price, but don't do that. And I will tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why you don't want to do that. If you do that, you're going to get a IOU note more than likely right now because the smelters are behind. And it could be 2 to 3 weeks, in particular for jewelry that is not pure. Like I just showed you the 925, you're going to have a problem with that one. Or if you're buying those silver quarters and half dollars, yes, they will buy them from you. But if they do buy them from you, you're going to lose anywhere from, 12 to probably 18% of the value. I don't think too many would be so bold as to take 20% from you, but they will gouge the hell out of you. And then they're going to tell you, well, reason is because, the smelters are behind and, whatever. And so the people that take it, process it and melt the silver down, everybody ran and started melting their silver down like crazy. And they're like, I have some silver. And so the coins now are not worth as much. Now, used to when gold was trading still at like $3,000, I had the Chinese Zodiac gold coins, the rounds and the bullion, which you can scarcely find on eBay now. And I had those, and they were selling for up to $300 to $500 more than spot. Why? Because of their rarity. You can't sell those now because if you were to sell them now with gold hovering at around 48 to 53 at any given time, no, they're not going to buy them because they're not going to pay 5 grand or 53 or whatever plus 3 to 500 more for that. So gold has been, everybody's buying it, and it's so expensive that they're just not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So you're going to lose the intrinsic value as just the gold itself, but you're going to lose that what they called like
The added value.
yeah, the
or
exquisite value or whatever they
Yeah,
call it because it's
like
an
from the
exquisite
craftsmanship.
piece, the craftsmanship. Yeah, nobody cares about all that right now. They just care about
Artistic value.
the artistic value. They don't care about it. I've heard it called all different kinds of things, but see, now you're starting to get into some weird stuff here. Like, what is this? 1 ounce silver bar. This is what you got to be careful for. Please don't fall into this trap. This is what they're doing. The Chinese are selling these in particular. I haven't seen this
Did you
one
put it
yet.
on the screen?
Yes, let me put it on there. I haven't seen this one yet. This is new to me, but I do know the scammers are out there and they're skating by. And it's because people don't pay attention and they want a good deal. So look at this. $15 for 1 ounce silver bar. And it's APMEX. That is not APMEX. APMEX does not make this. This is basically probably at best it's copper, at worst it's lead. And they plate it with this crap, stamp it out. I've seen the ones from Scottsdale, and I wish I had them with me because I kept them to show you guys, and I didn't bring them, unfortunately. So this is what happens. They make these and then they sell it for a ridiculously cheap price. And look at this, 375 sold. There's a sucker born every minute, right, folks? So here you go. And then you read this. Who is this? Kathy 603 whatever with 15 reviews and 80% positive. So let's take a look. Let's take a look here. I'm messaging the seller. Let me back up there again. Let me see here. Here we go. Let me get that off. Let's take a look what they have. What is Kathy? What do they have for sale? Looks like they're selling some stuffed toys and that. Now, you're asking, why are they able to get away with selling this on eBay for $15? Well, because Kathy 6034 says, APMEX suitable for collecting, right? So then it confuses people, right? Because people will jump on that and buy it. Here's some more. Another one, 1 ounce silver bar, 1 ounce for $12.84. That's some BS. You know why? I know that's BS because it's selling for like $81 per ounce. So how
They can't see this one.
they can't see it?
No.
Okay, so where am I at then?
Let me do that.
Hang on one second, folks. I'm over here talking. You can't even see the screen.
Let me just share the window.
Why is it doing that?
Okay, now you can switch tabs and they can see what you're looking at.
Okay, so here's what I'm looking at here, right? You see this? Here's the one I'm talking about, Scottsdale Mint. Here's another one. $14.99. Sharif March Trades Limited. I don't know who the hell you are. I don't care. And so you go down to where does it show you the description of it? Here it is. Here it is right here. 1-piece silver bar, Scottsdale Mint Vortex silver bullion bar. Regional theme, feature, whatever, Europe. I don't know what the hell. They're just talking crap. I only sell copy replica coins. Please don't buy them as the original coins. I sell these copied coins, only want to make your collections more perfect. Listen to the way that they wrote that.
Yeah.
I sell these copy coins, only want to make your collections more perfect.
You're not buying stupid.
The picture is taken in kind for reference only.
And not real stupid round eye.
Yeah.
And not my fault you dumb.
So here's what they got. Arrived on time, well packaged, blah, blah, blah. Who are these people that are buying this? Well, there's
cousins.
There's people that are dumb, and then there's people that are just writing this up, right? Because here's what people do. They make the mistake. They'll buy something like this and immediately go run and post a glowing review and then go, oh, shoot, this isn't even real. And who knows how long it'll take them before it becomes real. So then that starts to become a whole scam in of itself. Here's another one right here. This is crazy. A lot of 4. Yeah, it's Scottsdale once again. That's why they're getting the bad reviews, but it's not them that's doing it, right? And it's here a lot of 4 Scottsdale Mint 994, and it says here $31.75 each or best offer. Well, let's see the disclaimer here. This is why YouTube is not taking them down, because they're not saying that it is 100% real. They're saying this is for collector only, like, So it says you get 4 new container fresh 1 gram silver bars. Those are 1 gram. So that's actually real. And it says it right here, 1 gram. But how many people are looking at this and thinking that this is an actual silver bar? So they're selling it to you for $31.75 a gram. But you're looking at this and you see this part right here, right? Yeah. Prepper silver. Ooh, I got to get that. 1 gram. Do you know what 1 gram of silver is? So a troy ounce is 31 grams, right? So let's do the math. If you spent $31 times 31.75, what does that come out to, Anthony?
984.25.
90 what?
984.25.
$9.80. What is it? $98, right?
Okay, you said 31.
31 times 31.
Yeah, 984.
900. Okay. No. It's $9.80. It's $98 is what you're paying for that, right? 31, right? For 4. I'm sorry, I'm screwing up. I'm thinking I'm timesing it times 4. 31.75, right? And it's per gram times 31. So it comes out to what? 984?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So we did the math, and I apologize. So I did this right here pisses me off so bad, dude. Folks, I can't tell you how pissed off I get. So if you buy this bull crap right here, I'm tempted to cuss. I'm not going to. I'm trying not to cuss. I've turned over a new leaf as of a few hours ago. All right. So you're looking at $984 a freaking ounce if you buy this BS right here, dude. Uncirculated. Who gives a shit? It's nobody is going to pay that except for people actually do. And that's unfortunate because here you go. Old Grandpa Silver or whatever. And wow, Grandpa was such a pleasure to deal with. Everything is in great. Shut up. You're either an idiot who got taken, or you're worse. You're one of these people that's helping them scam the American public and the international public. So beware for that, folks. Please do not just look at the fine print and don't automatically assume. Remember, it says right here 1 gram, and it's $984 if you buy that. When you could easily, you know, what do the math? 31 or 80, what is it? $80, right? Divided by 31. What does it come out to? Give me the number here. Let me take this off the screen.
$80 divided by 31.
Mm-hmm.
It's about roughly 2.6. A little over 2.5.
So you're looking at $2.60 for a gram. Do you see my point? They're trying to sell you maybe real silver, maybe not. I don't even know. But yeah, bot comments for sure. So here you go. They're trying to sell you what literally costs $2.50. They're trying to sell it to you for $31. So don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that scam. This is important. A lot of people do not understand this. I can't tell you how many people say, I tried to buy it from eBay and it was a horrible disaster, Billy. I didn't understand it. Well, here you go, right here. And they're using that APMEX and that Scottsdale, like this one here, $15. And but remember the fine print, folks, at the bottom. It says it on here, guy. This is not real. It's just for collection, right? So here's a negative comment about Kathy over here. It says this seller is selling fake silver bars. Of course, the first giveaway is the price. Silver is over $80 an ounce right now, and this person is selling for $15. So you know it has to be fake just from the price. But I thought I'd go ahead and buy it for the heck of it, just to see it by chance if it was legitimate. Well, this looks like a person they were dumb enough to buy it, and then they're like, oh, I knew it was fake. I just bought it for the heck of it. No, you got taken. And it says, I just got it, and it's not. I held it up to a magnet to verify it was not silver, blah, blah, blah. So here that, I don't even know how you're getting all that. Okay, but anyway, I'm not going to get into it. Now, that's just plain old bullion and the different pitfalls and traps that you would fall into. Here's another one. So don't do this, folks. Okay, don't do it. Just please don't do it, because you think, oh, if I get it in the assay case, the ASSAY case, that's what this is, and it is enclosed, it's got to be real, right? So if I buy this when silver is at 75, you're paying $18 more per ounce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Literally. I mean, it's at 75, right? So you're paying what, $17 more actually? It's what is it, 75.40? So it'd be $18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're paying $18 more per ounce on this, dude. Don't do it. Do not do it, folks. And I'll tell you why. Because you're not adding any value to this. But the same rule does not apply for gold. If you're buying gold, get it in an assay case, folks. Do not buy it loose, because the stakes are way, way, way higher. If you buy gold, platinum, palladium, and especially rhodium, do not buy it outside of an assay case. If you buy silver, don't waste the extra money on this stupid, silly little case, okay? If you just one of those people and you have money and you're just like hyper paranoid, then do yourself that favor, because maybe you're OCD and you're just nutty. You want to spend more money, then go ahead and do it for silver. I have never done it for silver, never. And like I said, I've only been taken one time that I know of.
Duke of Carolina has a good question. They say, what is an assay case?
Okay. This is the assay case right here.
I think it's ASSAY. Assay.
Yeah, ASSAY. Okay, I just spelled it out earlier, and I'll spell it out again. ASSAY. So let's go to gold.
Yeah, but those cases are supposed to serve as like a certificate of authenticity. If it's inside one of those cases, it's supposed to be guaranteed that it's real, but you can still get scammed with those
Mhm.
with some sellers.
Here's one that's 1 gram of gold. What is 1 gram going for? I think it's going for about 156 right now, but go look it up for me, Anthony.
Yeah.
1 gram of gold. There again, you're looking at like a $20 price pop, and you're going to pay more because this is the Pamp Suisse. They call it Suisse, which is actually how to say Switzerland, Swiss made, blah blah blah. I don't
One
know who this is, and I wouldn't buy from them.
1 gram is going for 156.23.
156.23. I was right. All right, shooting from the hip on that one, and I got it right. Look, here we go. Here's a Pamp Suisse Lunar Legends, and this one, the Aiden Coins is another one. You could probably trust them too. And this is a really neat one. This is Year of the Horse for 2026. It looks like they changed the design on that. And if I had it with me, I would show you. I will be doing another version of this episode, and I will show you what these Year of the Horse, Year of the Dog, the rat, the cat, the moose, the dog, the bat, whatever, the bat, I'll show you what they look like. This is neat. I wish I could, show you mine because I have 5 gram sets of those. But that is a good one too. And then here's another one. These are all in the assay cases, right? But it's crazy. Like here's a cheaper one, and you're probably going like, why is this one cheaper than it's literally below spot, right? Below spot 156. One reason is I can take a look at this and tell you this is a flimsy assay case, and I don't know what that is. I would not buy that. Gold Rush Exchange, it says they have 93.8. I don't know who that is. And like my Cajun friend on the story we did at PRT earlier, who that? I don't know who that is. So I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it because you're just as likely to get scammed by people nowadays. So stay away from that one. But remember the companies that I pointed out earlier. Now here's another one. And of course, this is where it gets kind of tricky. $239 for 1 gram, right? So that's quite a bit, man. So you're looking at what, 100 and almost $180 more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wouldn't that be correct? Is that or 100? Yeah, no, it would be. Yeah. So if it's going for 156, you're looking at like $80
Yeah.
more. That's 80, right? $80.
Okay.
Yeah. So why would you? I said 180. What the heck?
That'd be more like it'd be a little bit closer to 90.
90. Yeah.
Between 80 and 90.
You're looking at $80 to $90 more right here for that. What in the heck is going on? Like, why would you pay that? Well, it's because of this. It is literally the Lunar Legends horse. And now this is a real thing. They have these and they sell a lot of those. People love those. But that is for a collector. You're looking at like buying those for the collectors. And FKT says Zodiacs are the Rolls Royces of the precious metals. Yes, those Chinese Zodiacs. I have a lot of them. So this is what you're talking about here. There's all these different kinds or whatever. This is what I've been talking about. Let's go back to silver. Now you can see this. Like I said, there's an assay case here. Why would you want to pay that for silver? But like I said, for gold, you're looking at like, yeah, you almost have to do it because you want it to be correct. Here is what I mostly bought right here. I had a bunch of these, the Pamp Suisse, right? And that one there, it says here, Lady Gold Bar. It doesn't look like gold though, does it? What is that? That doesn't look like gold to me. And it says $829, 95.3% Air Warrior Supply. Who the hell is this guy? I don't even know who this is. That to me looks like a scam. I would not buy that. I don't. It just looks like a scam to me. And of course, there is this. There's the 1 ounce gold. Now, who is this? Snap Loop. I don't know who the hell this is. $4,500 for this. Now, when you start getting into the 1 ounces, I recommend not doing that because if that turns out to be not real, because they can fake these Pamp Suisse now. And if that turns out to not be real, then guess what? You're out of $4,500, dude. Like that is a bad move.
Well, they're selling that for below spot.
way below spot.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
Well, it kind of does because because it's worth so much now, people are willing to take a little bit of a hit
Mhm.
to sell this because it's not like selling silver where you're going to pay well over spot every time, 100%, because you're looking at like trying to make a profit, right? So they're going to try and get as close to $100 as they can, right? It's just a mental thing. People will literally try to get that $100, right? So people are holding out so hard on that. I'm telling you, I know a lot of collectors, a lot of stackers, they call them stackers,
Mhm.
and a lot of buyers or providers, whatever. They're all looking at like, we're trying to get to $100. Why? So you can take 10 of those and get 1,000. You can take 20 of them and get 2,000, whatever. So it's just a mental thing. It really is. It's human nature. But when something is worth this much and this expensive, what does it matter if you don't get the extra $500? You still got $4,500. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So something more expensive, they're willing to take a chunk off, and you know what I mean? It's like if you're trying to get a loan at a bank and they're willing to give you $31,000, but you're going to pay like $7,000 in interest. A lot of people are just going to go, okay, I'll take it, even though because all they're looking at is that 31,000.
Yeah.
But what if you went into that same bank and get this, and you said, I need $310, and they said, okay, I'll give you $310 right now, but you're going to pay me back 1,000 altogether. What? That's $700. Okay. I'll give you 31,000. I'll give you 3,100, but you got to pay seven. You got to pay, seven, whatever $1,000. Some people would balk at that, but other people might not. And then if they said 31,000, but you got to pay me back 70,000.
Mhm.
Most people would tell them that's no way. But a person desperate and needing that 31,000, they might do it. People are getting interest killed nowadays.
Yeah.
A friend of mine recently took a loan, one of those where they send you a check and it was $5,000, and he was like, he cashed it. Guess how much he's paying back in interest?
15 grand.
He's paying pretty bad. He's paying over double, 60%.
Ugh.
He's paying back $6,000 in interest. Now he owes 11 grand. And that's my friend Grant. He went and did it. He asked me and I told him, don't do it. If I had the money, I would have lent it to him myself, but so yeah, good luck with that. That's a horrible thing. But the more money you're putting out there, which is why the people we've talked about, they commit usury on a mass scale because people are desperate. And if there's a lot you can do with $31,000, right? But the desperation, it sets in, and people will do things. $7,000, or they'll tell you 3,100, but you got to pay me back, 7,800. People do it. I mean, they just go for it because they just need that money. Got to make car payments. You got to make mortgages, rent. You got to live, man. Kids got to eat, dude. So that's what happens. But this is something that you can invest in and prepare for the future and not have to take those hits, right? This is something that you can do. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to make money. This isn't for my health. I'm doing it because you, the paratroopers, need to know these things. You're the crusaders. You're the ones that are trying to survive, trying to live. Now, here's a silver bullion. Look at this silver bullet. Now, this is what we call novelty silver. You get these because it looks cool, and you're going to pay $107 for that. But then it starts getting even more like ridiculous when you get into silver rounds. Let's go to that. What is silver rounds? What is that? And it's almost always going to be 1 ounce because why would you even mess with it? So here's a 1 ounce silver round, random design, but it's what is this? Direct from Bullionic. I don't know these guys. They got a lot of good reviews, but who knows? Tube of 20 rounds. Is that a good deal? What is 20 rounds? Where's my phone? Where did my phone go?
It's under your hat there.
So let's get into it.
What's it
So-
cost? 1550?
Yeah, 1550. Anthony, you can do the math on that.
77.50 around.
What the freaking heck is this?
And the
Why is Amazon delivering something at 11 o'clock? What is wrong with them? Amazon, like 20 minutes ago, your order's ready. Yeah, at 11 o'clock, dude. It was supposed to be there at 4 this afternoon. Thank you. Nuts. My phone was going off, and I'm getting messages saying that I have an Amazon. Thank you. Now it's there at the house, and who knows who could go and steal it. Awesome. Thank you for that. Dumb stuff. So here is another one. Right? Shield Maidens, Trivium, Shield Trivium girls. Pretty cool looking, But there again, you're paying for this little cool design here. And this is for collectors, sort of like stackers, people that just stack silver and gold. They just collect it. But some of these people really like the designs and things like that. So you're going to pay more for this. You pay $93, which is $18 more than what it's going for. It's 93 bucks. So that's, and then here's this one. There's an Aztec god. I wouldn't buy that crap. But that's me. I don't buy stuff like that. And I don't go for this 995 or whatever. I go for 999 right here. And if you're going to buy silver, I don't buy 1 ounce silver bullion, and I'll tell you why. It's bulky and it's harder it's spread out more. It's harder to collect. You have more that you can do with the silver rounds. I would buy something like this. Just this right here. 999 silver, and it's a random design. So what? But you're paying $392, and we said earlier there was $375, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do the math. What's 393 minus 75? What is that? $18?
Yeah. Minus just 75, that'd be 318.
No, I'm saying it's $18 difference.
Oh yeah.
So you're looking at an $18 difference, but there's 5 of these, right? So you're only paying $18. So 18 divided by 5, you're looking at what, about $3 more over spot per ounce. That's not bad. So that would actually come out to what, like $78 per round? Is that correct?
See, 392.
Yeah.
Divided by 5. Yep. 78.52.
Yeah. So you're looking at about $78 to $79 per round. That's closer to spot.
Yeah, spot's 74, 76.
74, 76, 75 basically.
Yeah.
So you're looking at about, $3 more per coin. That's not bad. But I would do that, and I would buy them in lots of 5. I would not waste my money buying them with 1 ounce silver. I would buy them in lots of 5. That's my take on that. I would try to find some from APMEX. Let's see what APMEX has. Please verify yourself. Oh, God. What is this shit? Oh, God.
Let me see.
I don't want to do any of that. Maybe we avoided it for now. Let's see. Let's look up APMEX. Let's see what they got going on. All right. So let's look up APMEX. 1 ounce silver. We need to go to silver. Remember, bullion is the regular and then the rounds. I go for the rounds if I can, but I will buy bullion if I'm stacking it in denominations of 5 ounces and 10 ounces. I will buy bullion, but for the most part, I'm going to buy rounds, and I'm going to tell you this. Here's how it works. 1 ounce silver round APMEX lot of 10. This is where you're going to get your best value typically, and it's from APMEX, so pretty good. You're probably not going to get ripped off. This is what I would buy right here. But do the math. How much is 800
bucks an ounce?
Yeah, it's $82 an ounce. So that is actually, you're paying a little bit more. So at 82 bucks an ounce, what you're paying like $7. What is that?
So, yeah, about $7 more.
$7 more per ounce. So you're saying, Wolf, why would I do that? Why would I pay $7 more? Because it's from APMEX. I can't stress enough the difference between having peace of mind and knowing that if you buy from APMEX, you're probably going to get what you pay for. But this Aiden coins, I think they're on the secondary market. This is a random 1 ounce silver. So if you were to buy it at 85, like you're looking at that right there and you're going like, well, damn, that's even more, right? That's like 10, 11 bucks per ounce because you're buying one, and it's also random. right? So go to APMEX, and that's actually not a bad thing from a reputable company. Here, it's right here. Yeah. And then if you go down here and you buy 5 silver rounds from APMEX at 412 or 413, right? Do the math. That comes out to 826, right? We already talked about it over here. That's $4 more than this one here, right? 822.90. So this would be the best value. Now, it is a little more expensive than buying what we talked about earlier. Where is it at? Oh yeah, that's a Abstech weird crap. Anyway, what we saw earlier, it was like what, $78? But also you're looking at the seller, like who is that? You don't know them that well. I'm not real familiar with it. I would shell out the extra $4 per round to make sure that I got peace of mind to know that I'm not getting jacked around. You know what I mean? And then you have these right here. Like I said, they're novelties. Like, look at that. Isn't that cool? That's pretty. 2013 Stars and Stripes. It's $90. You're paying $15 more for that one coin. They also have these little cases right here. Here's a good one. Silver round buffalo. I have a bunch of these. $1,600 for 20. So 1605. Do the math, right? You're looking at what? That's the same thing, like
$80 and 25 cents.
yeah, $80 and $80.20. So you're looking at that. And so here's this Charlie's Pond. I don't know what that is. That's that crap we looked at earlier. Stay away from that kind of stuff. APMEX right here. You're looking at $80. That's $5 more per coin. This is your best value right here. Bang for your buck. Go to your watch list. Put it on your watch list. Make an eBay account and put it on your watch list. This is going to go back up. Silver is going to go back up. And I paid not too long ago $17.57 for this same thing right here. Now it's at $16.09. Do I regret buying it? No, I don't. And if you can really afford it, I would say go for this. Go for and buy it from APMEX. Make sure that you try to, pay attention to the mail. You don't want to lose this in the mail and have a problem. But if you had $3,262 to spend, this is what I would do. I would get that. Now, what does that come out to per coin?
It's $81.55.
$81.55, right? That's actually a little more expensive than the other one. That's weird. But for the most part, it's the same. And I would get that. But I would go for this one. Yeah, 1605.
Mm-hmm.
So for 3210, right? 3210, and this one that we looked at a minute ago, what was it? So for 30, it'd be cheaper even actually. Wow. But I would buy 2 of these. So I would just go to the cart and go, I'm gonna get 2 of these, man. Let me get 3 of them because that wish I could afford that, but I can't right now. But yeah, that's what I would do. So my personal opinion, and this is cool. If you like stuff like this, like the Year of the Dragon, that's neat, right? 2024, and then they have a little Lunar Series holder there. You can get a bunch of them. And but yeah, there again, you're paying $15 more per coin because it's pretty and cool and it's collectible. And if that's what you want to do, more power to you. But not me. I'm looking for value. Here's another one. But this one comes out to $900. You know why? Because it's got the pretty design on there and whatever, and it's a 5-ounce coin. And those 5-ounce coins are thick. They're about that thick. They're really cool looking. Yeah, there you go. You're buying that, right? That's what you're doing. So that's pretty much so that's silver. We did silver, and we'll do another one of these videos probably tomorrow, I guess. And we'll get back into it, and we'll get into gold, and then we'll get into platinum. So we just decided we started with silver, talked about gold a little bit, but pretty much this is what you're going to be looking at if you're buying silver. Let me clear this off here and get back to it. No. So what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that I explained it correctly? Do you have any questions before I go? Because I am actually have somebody running my route right now. I need to get going because old Wolfie here is not doing too good financially. So hopefully I don't have to sell my silver, but I got to do what I got to do. Did I explain it to you? Was it comprehensive enough? Is there, give me the critiques. If you think I need to do better, then I'll do better. But I would also encourage you because sometimes when you buy coins and they won't send you the correct weight or something might happen like that. Just to weigh your jewelry too. We're going to talk about gold jewelry tomorrow. We'll get into gold coins, gold bullion, gold jewelry. We may do a 2 or 3 parter on just gold because gold needs its own episode. So this one is about silver, and I'm just going to say, hey, it's silver. This was silver. Silver jewelry. It's pretty self-explanatory. You got 995. You got sterling. You got 999. Sterling silver is going to be hard. It's harder to get the silver away from the alloy. It's a little harder to sell to a smelter and get a real, you know, good value for it because you're going to lose a lot of the money you paid because of the artistic or exquisite value in it or whatever they call it. So silver jewelry, though, if it's pure and it's 999, which is mostly what I wear, I have a little bit of 995. But if you get into the silver, you start kind of looking at like, you know, everybody's trying to sell it. It's not going to be, you're not going to get what it's really worth, right? Sterling is just not where it's at. But it makes pretty jewelry, and it does have a value, an artistic value that's way more than what you're going to get. And they don't do a recovery on silver like they do gold because it's just not worth as much. So a lot of silver that goes into the market is lost once the cell phones and all the other stuff that they put silver into. Once it's melted down and used and done, whatever, they don't try to collect it. You know, they don't try to do anything with it. Gold, they do a hardcore recovery on gold with these semiconductors and things like that. But with copper and silver, it just goes into the waste bin. And that is where in the future it's going to make silver worth a whole lot more. And eventually you're going to see silver is going to be way, way more valuable than it is now. I promise you. You know why I know this? Because right now the cartels are holding up the silver mines, and they're bad dudes, man. And nobody's going to be able to do anything as long as Scheinbaum is in charge. And I'm going to tell you this: 30% of the world's silver comes from Mexico. I bet people didn't know that. They are the largest producer of silver in the entire world by a ton. No pun intended, because tons and tons of it come out of there. But here is the other catch. London did what they did, the Rothschilds, and they were devaluing silver so they could gobble it up. And then they got called out on their bullcrap, and then they started, so yeah. Now we are where we're at with silver. So here's the problem. Silver is not as abundant as they make it out to be. And the reason I say they make it out to be because it is literally only 7 to 8 times more abundant than gold. And so you're asking the question, why is it like what, 60 to 1? Right? What is it exactly? Let's say 65 times 80. That's what it was 52. It was about 52. So it's about 62. Yeah. So it's about, let's see, 64 times 75. Is it 48? Yeah. So you're looking at like it's 64 to 1. The gold to silver ratio is 64 to 1. That's incorrect. And I'll stand on that. And I'll tell you, in the next 5 years, silver will balance out, and you're going to see if you have a lot of it, you're going to be very wealthy. I would buy a ton of it if I could. I would buy it more than gold. Gold is very precious and very valuable, and it is volatile as hell, but so is silver. But there is something happening right now. The devaluing of the dollar and this stupid war didn't help. And so if you buy silver right now within the next 5 years, it didn't even take that long, but I'm giving it 5 years to where it really starts to take hold. It's going to be a stranglehold on the markets because it's not just a monetary metal. It's now becoming a monetary metal. We're seeing the transformation right before our eyes. It is a precious metal, obviously. So is gold, so is palladium, so is platinum, and even copper can be considered that. It's on the low end, but they are not just going to be industrial metals anymore. They're going to be worth money, and silver and gold are going to be currency. So, what you're starting to see right now is the market changing. And I'm going to get into an episode where we talk about China and the economic war that's being waged. And what they have said is that, and this is just for the future show, they have said that by December of 2026, they issued this edict a year and a half ago that everyone has to divest from American companies. Do you know what that means? It's like their companies have to do what the state tells them. Here in this country, the government or the state, as we call it, and I don't mean the state you live in, I mean the federal government, which is the actual state. They will tell you, you can do this, you can do that, but you can't do this, you can't do that. They are telling them, the Chinese companies that are from China, born and bred, right? That they have to cut their ties with all American companies by December of 2026. You know what that means? China is trying to flip the coin. This has happened many times. Japan almost did it to us in the 80s. They're waging an economic jihad, and going to war with Iran just made it that much more harder for. There are people, I call them silly people, who have the retardation, who actually believe that this war is hurting China somehow. Please, do you have a pulse? I don't know. I don't know. I get how it can be hard to understand simple things like you should probably eat soup with a spoon and maybe you should eat pasta with a fork. But those are for normal critical thinking people. And there are people that will sit here and go, I'm absolutely not correct with Dr. I don't know. Because these people have the retardation. If you think for 1 second that spending $1 billion a day on a war that we're probably never going to be able to fully comprehend or grasp, whatever, win, okay, you obviously you have to have your head checked if you think that that's correct. China is probably going, we're condemning this war. Keep doing it. Right? We condemn Israel and the United States. Keep doing it. Because you're going broke, dude. And they're like, oh, no, don't do this. The telling of this, when is Trump set to go meet Xi Jinping? Look it up. We will know eventually when and if he welcomes Trump with open arms to his, I don't know what the hell they call their Oval Office, the ding dong office, whatever the hell those idiots call it. I don't know what they call it. I don't give a shit. It's probably like the rest of the country, smells like ashes and ass. But the point is that this is what's going to happen. They're going to meet up in some point, and he's probably
Scheduled for March 31st
March
to April 2nd.
31st to the April 2nd. So at the end of the month, we're going to see what happens if he allows Cheeto Man to go to the Hotel California there in China, or if he does not. That's going to be very telling. And you're probably going to go, well, I don't understand what the hell that has to do with the price of rice in that place. Mr. Wolf will explain it to you, and I'll tell you why. Because just like APMEX's rating of 99.3, whatever, that's about where my accuracy is. Sorry for the little confusion earlier when I was doing the math all stupid or whatever. I was confused, but, for the most part, we got it correct. And I'm going to tell you why that matters. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask as many questions as there are stars in the sky. And if I can't figure it out, well, guess what? You, the paratrooper, and me, the general, we'll figure it out together because we're all in this together. And there are no wrong questions. No wrong questions. Okay. Ask whatever you want. Dale says they postpone it. I bet you they probably do. True Dread says, can you cover Jeffrey Dahmer's occult connection on True Crime Paranormal? Sure. We're going to get into that in a few weeks too, probably with him on True Crime Paranormal. And this person, Jamie Johnson, says, Wolf, would you get silver dollars like the 1923 Liberty silver dollar and 90% silver? I am not a fan of the 90% silver because it's so hard to unload those unless you go to a coin collector. Coin collector will never give you full spot because it's like going to a baseball card shop. They're trying to make a buck too. So they're going to chop you down at the knees, and you can't really fault them for it. That's what they're trying to do, is turn a profit. Me personally, I am not a fan of 90%. I am not a fan of the 995. I showed you this earlier, and I'll show you again. This is pure silver with a rhodium coating. And I'll show you this right here. This is an actual silver. This is 925, I believe. Oh, no, wait. This is 99. And I'll show you the difference. I have another one. Okay. This is gold inlaid, and there's a diamond in it. And then this, and there are two. I have two of these. Here's the weird thing about this. One of them is 925 and one of them is 999. This is tarnishing. The quicker it tarnishes, if it's not rhodium plated or rhodium coated, you'll see that it's more real, right? The other one does not tarnish as in the same way. And there's another one of these versions at my friend's jewelry shop that is actually white gold. And you say, why would people wear white gold? Well, that's a question for tomorrow, right? But I'll tell you right now. Some people think silver looks good on them. They don't like the way gold looks on them, and they just so my stepmother wore a lot of white gold. Me personally, I don't think so. It's just not my thing. But I would definitely go for the purity of silver, and I would not use those 90%. And even if they're worth a bunch of money because of the rarity, whatever, I keep trying to get somebody to buy them and give you what they're worth right now. And it sounds weird, right? You would think that the price of silver going way up would actually be beneficial towards you're trying to get, a better value. Like, oh, well, now that silver skyrocketed, I mean, this rare piece that I got is probably worth a lot more money. Yes and no. It is, but good luck trying to find somebody to buy it for what it's really worth. And if you're one of those people that's sentimental towards objects, I'm not. Then you're thinking, okay, yeah, I don't want to get rid of this because it's valuable. I would not invest in those. And the smelters have to take it apart because there's nickel, copper, and there's all this alloy that they combine it to, or it sticks to, and they mix it together. So then they have to separate the silver from these alloys, and then that is a whole nother process, and you lose. I think 10 to 11% is what I've been told. Like a little over 10% of the silver or gold gets smoked out. Yeah, the refiners are. Pachura says his refiners are backed up right now. They really are. Yeah, and see, Dee says, I only look good with silver. Well, if you only look good with silver, then that's why people will wear white gold. And like I said, 3 different rings, 3 different deals. And I thought that was crazy. I looked at it and I said, dude, there's one that's 925, one that's 999, and then another that's made of white gold. That's weird. I have this ring too. This is gold, but I have a silver one too that I rarely wear. And I had a what do you call it? I'm losing my words here. And I don't know where the silver one's at. I got to find it. It's in a box somewhere with my other silver jewelry, which I can't seem to find right now. But I have that one, and then I have a stainless steel. So most of these, if you look them up online, they're stainless steel, which is weird. I had this one cast from a silver one, and the person that cast this is now deceased. And get this, we had a show earlier about the Cajun, whatever. my original jeweler from Gold Creations on South Lamar in Austin. He died years ago of throat cancer, and he was shocked because he said, "Where did you get this silver one at? It's pretty." He goes, I never seen one of these." And I told him, I said, "I bought that one." He says, "Most of those are stamped out." He saw people wearing those, but they were stainless steel. It was all that biker jewelry is what they call it, right? And so I ended up making one out of gold from a silver one that must have been made by somebody down the line that made it from a stainless steel. And if I remember correctly, I bought the silver one downtown from a jewelry dealer that she used to work downtown all the time, if I remember correctly. And she said it was a unique piece. I look online and there's a bunch of stainless steel ones, but not any silver ones. So that's where that came from, and that is why I ended up with a silver one, and nobody else had one like it. But then everybody else followed suit. All my friends went out and got the silver one. Scorpions got one. D's got one. Willie had one. Everybody had one. Squid. So ended up, that became a thing. Everybody started buying getting those stamped out and made. So there's probably 30, 40 of them floating around somewhere now. But at the time, there were no silver ones. So somebody had probably taken the stainless steel design off of some kind of biker deal, and then they went and they made them into silver. And so I got that one. And then when I did it, then a bunch of people did it. But now this one is gold, and I bet you there's nobody who's got one like that that's gold. That's the story, right? But it doesn't matter. If you're going to get silver jewelry made, make it pure silver. The problem with that is that it's soft. And we'll get into gold tomorrow. There's a whole thing we can talk about on gold. That it is soft too. And that's why if you're going to wear it like everyday use, get it in 10K. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right. Jojico says, "What do you think of old silver tableware?" Well, do you even know the story behind why silverware was what it is? There's a whole story behind it. I don't have time to tell it, but it's antimicrobial. That's what people use it. That's why they ate off of it. But there's a whole thing behind that. I think that if it is 999, it is awesome. But if it's just sterling silver, it's not. And you're going to have a hard time getting rid of it. Because if it is the 925 stuff or if sterling, whatever, you're going to have a hard time getting the smelts out of it. You might get a IOU 2 or 3 weeks backed up, blah, blah, blah. And it's just a pain in the butt. Unless you're like me and you have friends that'll melt it down. I have friends that will melt stuff down. So they have their own deals, But that's pretty much that. So anyways, that's how you buy silver on eBay. Remember, go back and look at the comments and you'll see we posted those different companies with 5, right? Wasn't there 5 different ones? Go and look at those. JM Bullion, right?
Scottsdale Mint.
Scottsdale.
JM Bullion, Liberty, and Atmex.
And Pinehurst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Atmex, Scottsdale, JM Bullion, Liberty, and Atmex. Those are the main 5. Those to me are the big 5. There's other ones like Aiden, but you saw that they weren't really offering that good of deals and stuff. And so I would just go with those bigger companies, but don't fall into the trap of something saying Atmex or Scottsdale. And I showed you, and it's real cheap. If you look at something undervalued, you're going to get undervalued, right? So there's that. And now you know what to do. Pretty much it. We'll see you tomorrow night right here or maybe tomorrow during the day. Whenever I got a chance, maybe I'll get up and just do a quick show or whatever, and I'll talk to you about gold. It'll probably be a 2 or 3-parter, and we will get into it, and I'll explain to you whatever you need to know about gold, buying it and selling it. Now, this is how you buy it. When you sell silver, it's a different ballgame. And I can explain to that, but I don't have time for that right now. This is buying silver. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you. Be sure and check out Paranormal Roundtable. Don't forget to check that out. And Dead Zone Transmissions. Nellie's still dropping it like it's hot on there. Please go like and subscribe to all of our channels. Like and subscribe to this. And please go like and subscribe to True Crime Paranormal. Tomorrow night, we get back into it on Paranormal Roundtable with Joel. And Joel he's a Messianic Jewish dude. He's a pretty cool dude. And we talk about all kinds of stuff. Tomorrow night, we're going to listen to him tell us all about whatever. And then Saturday is True Crime Paranormal at 7:00. We get into the second episode of Samuel Little. And then next week, after this one, we're going to be doing Son of Sam, David Berkowitz. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit about talking to dogs because that's what he said he did. He said he talked to a dog, and he said he was involved in a cult and they worshiped Lucifer and Satan. And he goes into this whole thing of why they're two different things. Weird, right? But that's True Crime Paranormal. We're going to get into it, and we're going to explain to you what is what with the Son of Sam. Was he alone in what he did? We don't know, but we'll find out as much as we can, right? That's next week. Remember, Friday, tomorrow, Joel, and then that's our guest on Paranormal Roundtable, and then True Crime Paranormal, 7:00 on Saturday, and we'll just be coming in at random times on Random Files. Check us out. We'll see you. Good night.
Caterpillar, no smoke, rings of wisdom, magic mushrooms in this kingdom size to control.